Welcome to another Bryanston School Onshape video tutorial for the C skateboard project. In the last video we created the assembly that's on the screen, which is of one of the skateboard wheels. In this video we're going to add that to a pre-modelled, publicly available skateboard truck so that we can create another sub-assembly of that we can then add to our skateboard. So the first thing that we're going to do is to go back to Onshape. So click on the Onshape bar here. This is probably what you see when you first load in the software. I was still in the assembly from the last tutorial, so I've gone back to Onshape, and you can see that I can go through various options. My Onshape recently opened files, those files that have been created by me, those files that have been shared with me by other people. But I want to go to public, so I'm going to left click on public, and it comes up with loads of publicly available documents, but we're going to search for a very specific file. So I'm going to type in Bryanston skateboard and hit return. And that's come up with the Bryanston skateboard truck assembly, and this is the file that I want. So I am going to right click on this, and I'm going to then left click on copy workspace. So this is going to create my own copy of this particular file. So you see it's come up with a new name. What I shall do is I shall put in a student at the front, and I will delete the last bit because I don't want copy in the name, and I'm going to get rid of the Bryanston in there as well. So it says a student skateboard truck assembly. Now I suggest you replace a student with your name because then you will have your own copy of this file and you can then play around with that file later on. So left click on create copy, and now if I go to my Onshape, I can see various files, and if I go recently opened, I can see various files. If I go created by me, I can now see the file that I've just done. So what I want to do is I actually want to put that in with my skateboard project instead of just leaving it as a loose file. So I'm going to right click on that, and then I'm going to left click on move to. So if I left click on the back arrow, I can see all of the different folders that I've been working on, and for me skateboard project 2022 is the folder that I want to move this document to. So I'm going to go move here. So now that's disappeared, but if I go to my skateboard 2022 folder, I will see that. So if I go to my Onshape, go to skateboard project 2022, and you can see that there's the file that I've just created. So it's a different file to the skateboard project that I've been working on. That's absolutely fine. So I'm going to go to my skateboard document now, and I'm going to create a new assembly. So left click on the little plus sign and left click on create assembly. So I've now got an assembly one come up here. So the first thing I'm going to do is rename that. So left click on it, sorry, right click on it, left click on rename, and I'm going to call that truck assembly and hit return. So now let's get that truck assembly that I've just brought in. So left click on insert, and this time I want to go to another document, and it's actually an assembly that I want. So although that recent file was created as a part studio, it's actually the assembly that I want. Now this has come up with the skateboard that I've done because I drew it. So what I want to do is to go back into the folder and pick the one that I need. So in skateboards 2022 is the wrong folder. I want to go into skateboard project 2022, a student skateboard truck assembly. So click on that. I'm clicked on assembly, and that's the one that I want there. Okay, so you can see the file. Now in the last assembly tutorial that we did. We just placed the parts wherever we wanted to. In this instance, I want this to be based around the origin where it was modelled and then assembled. So without clicking and placing it in the work area, I'm just going to left click on the tick. So that's now placed it around the origin as it was modelled. And I'm then going to right click on this part here, and I'm going to left click on fix. So that now means that that's fixed in place. That assembly should be fixed in place, and I shouldn't be able to select other parts and move them around. Okay, I cannot move that because it's all part of an assembly and there's a relationship between all of the parts, and that's fixed in this particular assembly. Okay, so let's add some other components to that. So the other components are within this file. So we're going to go Insert, and this time we're going to go Current Document, and we are going to go to Assemblies first of all, and we're going to pick the wheel assembly. So I'm going to place a wheel there, and I'm going to place a wheel over here, and then we're going to go back to the Part Studios. We're going to go to the wheel parts, and we're just going to add in a nut. So left click a nut, and left click and place a nut, and then click the tick to say that I'm happy with those parts. So we'll put the nuts on the wheels after we've put them onto these axles, because we can use a different assembly for the wheels which would allow the wheels to rotate. Actually, for our model it doesn't matter, but it just shows you another type of assembly that we can do. So the first thing I'm going to do is, just to make things a little easier, I'm going to left click to select our wheel assembly, and then I'm going to use this arrow here to drag around 90 degrees. And when I'm close to 90 degrees, I can actually type in 90 and hit enter, and then click away to unselect it. And I'll do the same with this wheel. So left click on the wheel, I can change it in 3 different rotations, but I'm just going to pick this one so that I can spin it around at 90 degrees. If I get it right, I can just hit enter without having to type in the angle, and then click away. So let's start with this one. So instead of a fastened mate, we're going to use a revolute mate. So again, I can come into this bearing, and I can pick that edge which picks up the mate point in the middle of the hole. So left click on there, and then I'm going to hold the right mouse button down and spin this around, and I'm going to do the same on the axle here. So I'm going to left click there. So you can see it's jumped to the bearing over. That's fine, it's just doing a preview. It shows us how that part fits. I'm going to left click to say that I'm happy, and then the whole wheel goes over. Let's repeat that again. So we're still with a revolute mate. This time I'm going to pick this inside edge of this bearing, and it's highlighting the mating point, the fastener on that bearing, and then do the same over here. So I'm just zooming in with the mouse wheel, picking up that point there. Again, it puts the bearing in as a preview. Left click to confirm, and then I'll just close that because I'm done with those. So now it might be sort of difficult to see this, but if I zoom in with the scroll wheel, I should be able to spin the wheel around, and because it's not got any texture on there, it's difficult to see, but I can spin the wheel around that revolve point. Okay, let's add the nuts in. So again, just to make things a little bit easier, let's select the nut. Let's spin it around 90 degrees so it's facing the right sort of direction. Do the same with the other nut. So spin this around 90 degrees so that's facing the right direction. Again, if I don't get it quite right, I can type 90 degrees in and then click away. And this time this would be a fastened mate. So let's do this nut first. So pick the edge, mate point in the middle, turn around. Let's do the same on the edge of that bearing. It puts the nut in, left click to select. And this time we'll do it in reverse. So we'll click on the edge of the bearing first of all for the first fastener. I'm zooming in with the scroll wheel again, right mouse button to held down to be able to spin it. Same on that nut, and I'll be confident and left click so we can see that the 2 nuts are on there. And that is the truck assembly completed, so that's ready to go onto the skateboard. So in the next tutorial we'll do the final assembly of the skateboard. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.